Happy Camper Radio starts in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to another edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place you need to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about, and it has been a long struggle. It has been a rough couple weeks here at the Happy Camper Radio Show. If you wondered what happened to us, look no further than our social media sites. I've been doing my best to keep our listeners advised of what's happening, and for some crazy reason, when I least expected it, a computer malfunction basically brought the entire operation to a screeching halt. And not only the Happy Camper Radio Show, but also my voiceover business, which I run off the same computer and out of the same studio. It's been a challenge, it has been a struggle, and I am so happy to be sitting back behind the microphone again with you today. And this is episode 121, and on today's show, I'm going to go over a little bit of what I went through the past couple weeks trying to get the show back online again. And I'm also going to incorporate into this episode some things you may want to consider if you do your computing while on the road. We're going to be talking about camping and computing on today's episode of Happy Camper Radio. Our phone number here at the Happy Camper Radio Show is 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and now subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel. So many ways you can connect up with us. Go to our homepage, www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons on the right-hand side of the page. Click on any one of them, and you're good to go. Also, take some time to browse the website. Take the studio tour. See what we do behind the scenes. There's also a lot of great information on our homepage there. Just look in the toolbar up on top. Information that you can take with you on your next camping trip. Right now, I want to head over to the shout-out window because I have some folks that I have been dying to say hello to and welcome on board, folks who signed up with us here on social media. To start with, let's say hello to RV Smartly, who likes us on Facebook, Seth Yates of Seattle, Washington, Ken Kalat of Los Angeles, California. They're following us on Twitter, Pat Mathis, Hiram Software Solutions in Australia, and David Harvey of Lakeland, Florida. They've added us to Circles this week on Google+. Thank you all so much for joining us. Glad to have you on board, and thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Hey, would you like to be a guest on our show? Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. We'll make that happen. We have so many different ways we can bring you in through the main console, landline, cell phone, Skype. Everybody likes Skype. That works out real well for us. And we're also trying a new service called Source Connect, and that has a lot of promising features to it also. So anyway, if you'd like to be on the program, maybe talk to us about that camping trip you just got back from, a new piece of gear that you bought, anything in the world of camping is up for grabs. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Well, in several hours from now, we will be celebrating Labor Day 2015. That means the end of summer is just about here. For those of you who enjoy camping in the summer and just pretty much take a break in the fall, what do you do for activity? What do you do for fun? I like to visit camping and RV shows. This is a great family activity that you and the family can get out and enjoy. And this coming year, there's going to be a lot of great products online that you can see at different company websites. But if you do your research, chances are there's going to be a camping and RV show coming to town somewhere near you. Here in the metro Atlanta area next weekend at the North Atlanta Trade Center, September 11th through the 13th, 2015, It's the Georgia Camping and RV Show. I'm planning to visit. I'm going to be there. I'm not sure exactly what day, but one of the things I enjoy about camping and RV shows, folks, is just being around people who take in the activity of camping just like I do. These are down-to-earth people just to be around. You know, you're walking around the showroom floor, you're looking at all the great new models that are out, you're meeting a lot of dealers. A lot of them would like to make sales. Of course, you know, we understand that folks like myself, and maybe you too, just go there to window shop and browse around. But it's also a good time where you can start thinking of the future and what the future brings for you and your family. Maybe it's time to upgrade. Maybe you're in a pop-up camper now and you want to upgrade to a travel trailer. Or maybe it's stepping inside one of those beautiful motorhomes. Wow. They are awesome, folks. I would love to own one of those, live on the road full-time, and just do the Happy Camper radio show from wherever, the East Coast, the West Coast, South, North. It really doesn't matter. But just to get out and enjoy life, that's what it's all about. That's what camping is all about. Okay, folks, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to you again about the Great American Campout 2015. It's getting very close to winding down. In fact, tomorrow is the last day. I have really talked this up on the show, as I do each and every year. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Great American Campout, it's an event that is put together by the National Wildlife Federation, and their national sponsors provide $1 for every single individual who takes a pledge to go camping. All the way up to $100,000, all of that money is used to benefit wildlife, not only for our generation, but for future generations to come. So every year when we talk about the Great American Campout, I get involved, I take the pledge, I encourage every one of our listeners to do the same. A few weeks back, when I did our last episode, we were looking at 99,300 some people who had taken the pledge. They were almost there. The goal is 100,000 campers. Well, as of today, just a few moments ago, I checked their website, and thanks to you and thanks to each and every individual who enjoys camping and who have taken the pledge, they now have 117,200 individuals who had taken the pledge to go camping. They met their goal. All that money, again, is used to benefit wildlife. It's been fantastic. I've enjoyed taking part in it. In fact, while we had a little downtime here at the show, I reached out to a couple sponsors who put together some events locally, and they held some group camp outings as part of the Great American Campout 2015. I touched base with them, and it just basically said, hey, next year, if you want to do this again, get in touch with me, because I would love to bring the Happy Camper radio show out to your campsite, and we can do the show right from there. It's something that we're going to look forward to. I look forward to hearing from them, and maybe next year we'll be doing a lot more on-the-road episodes as part of their 2016 event. So everybody that participated in the Great American Campout 2015, thank you again for doing your part. All right, folks, today it's about camping and computing. Are you a long-term camper? Do you spend a lot of time on the road? Do you take your computer with you? In a lot of cases, people will bring a small laptop computer, understandably. Now, you hear me talk quite a bit why we should not bring our electronic devices to camp. I have no problem with people who are going to be doing their business on the road, say like their online banking. Maybe they need to upload some of their photographs from their iPhone or their smartphone and load them up onto the computers. You know, these are long-term memories that you want to cherish for a very long time to come. Maybe you do your online investing. There's so much that you can do online. Staying in touch with people through emails and through chat. One of the things I don't enjoy, folks, when around the campfire is when we're sitting there, enjoying the fire, having good conversations, singing songs, and looking to the right or left of me and someone sitting there with their little smartphone and they're playing games and things like that. Now, those are the times you should be putting those electronic devices down. But if you're a full-time camper, or if you're a camper who spends a lot of time on the road, I do understand why you're going to want to bring a portable computer with you. Now, last time I got in touch with you and we talked here on the show, I wasn't expecting any type of a computer glitch. Well, we had one that shut our operations down here at the Happy Camper Radio, as well as my voiceover business, because that's all run off the same computer. It took me about a week to actually pinpoint the problem, and what I ended up doing is I wiped my hard drive clean, and I reinstalled all the important critical files that I had backed up and stored away off-site. And once I got everything restored, getting ready to do the show all over again, the problem reoccurred. And specifically what that was, there is a key piece of software that I use when I'm producing the Happy Camper Radio show. And it's a software program that I have sworn by for a number of years. It's Adobe Audition CS 5.5 for those of you who know anything about computer audio. It's a great editing software, and I use it for both my voiceover profession as well as the Happy Camper Radio show. I can't really function without it. There are some programs, if that's shut down on me, I can get away with, I'll forget about that for a long time and get to fixing it when I get to it. But the Adobe Audition software, I need that to function the Happy Camper Radio show as well as my voiceover work. Well, I couldn't get the file to open up. I started getting error messages right out of the blue. And for the most part, I'm pretty computer savvy. I can go in, I have run into technical problems before, and I've gotten in there and I've fixed things, and sometimes it takes me a half hour, sometimes it may take me an hour. It can be a little frustrating, but for the most part, I can get in there and fix what I need to fix. Well, in this particular case, I couldn't do anything more with it. There are times when you just have to put everything aside and said, look, I don't have the answer to everything. It's time to take this thing in for repairs. Almost like working on a car. Maybe you can fix the brakes on a car. Maybe you can put on new brake pads. But when it comes to doing a transmission overhaul, you leave that to the experts. Same thing goes with computers. I took my computer into the shop, and about 3 or 4 days later, they came back to me, and they found the problem to be the Adobe Audition software all of a sudden started conflicting with my antivirus software. The last thing I expected to have happen. I'd had no idea that was causing the problem. Well, fortunately, they got in there and they reconfigured Adobe Audition so this would not happen again. And I've done a couple test runs already before I started today's show, just to make sure everything was opening and closing as they're supposed to. And so far, so good. Everything is working out just fine. Now, I also, again, like I say, use this computer for my voiceover profession, and I have several files on the computer that are very, very important. They contain my commercial and narration auditions, my business documents, tax files. All of that came to a complete screeching halt when the computer shut down. I hate to say this, folks, but we have now gotten ourselves into a day and age where without our computers, we are lost. I do know some individuals, some good camp people who actually lived their life in the old days. I mean, they write their checks every day when they need to pay bills, and they put stamps on them. They drive to the post office, and they do all their business by the U.S. mail. They have no interest in computers. And eventually, these folks, if they haven't already, they're going to be left behind because there is so much you can do today by computer. Think about it for a moment. We would not have this radio show. We would not be able to podcast if it weren't for computers and the world of online as we know it today. The thing is here, my computer that I use when I started this venture of Happy Camper Radio, I built it around the idea that I would be doing voiceover work someday. So naturally, I bought all kind of good high-end equipment. If you've been to our website, happycamperradio.com, and took the studio tour and see all this fancy equipment that we have, including this whisper room that sits behind me here in the studio, I'm in there quite a bit during the week. when I am recording commercial and narration voiceovers. But for the most part, a lot of my work that I'm doing when I'm editing is behind the console desk. What you will not see in any of those pictures is the actual computer itself. It sits in a closet about 8 or 10 feet away from where I'm at right now. And it's there for a reason, because there's a lot of fan noise that comes from this computer, and the microphones will pick that up. So that's why I keep the computer off to the side, out of sight, out of mind. The computer that I bought for this particular venture that I'm in right now with Happy Camper Radio and voiceover work, it's a very high-end computer. It's a Dell XPS. When I purchased it new, it was roughly about $1,600. So you know it came with a lot of bells and whistles to it. Got a massive hard drive, lots of memory, an expensive graphics card. If you look at the picture of the console desk, you see I have 3 computer monitors in front of me. There is something on all 3 of those computers right now as I'm speaking. And that's the purpose of having a good graphics card in that computer. I could actually put a 4th monitor here in the studio if I want, but I'll drive myself out of my mind if I go that far. It's very important that your computer, when you buy one, whether you're using it at home, whether you're buying a laptop to use out on the road, you want to buy something, I don't want to say throw all kind of money at it, but definitely get something that has a name brand attached to it. You know, there are some good off-brands that do work as well, but what you want more than anything, folks, is reliability. The last thing you want to have a problem with is your computer while you're on the road. Again, people use computers while they're traveling to do online banking, investing. They upload photographs from the internet. They upload photographs from their cell phones or their cameras. You know, there's just so many different things people can use computers for. So the bottom line is you want to make sure that your computer is going to be reliable and trustworthy and get you from point A to point B and back home again without any problems at all. Now, again, portable computers are a must for full-time campers. I totally understand that. They're also used for people who camp long-term. I know some folks that just use iPhones, Androids, and tablets. That's okay, too. And again, these devices can store thousands of photographs and a lot of precious memories. I know folks that use their laptops and their smartphones to watch movies and listen to music. They come with programs and you can pull files from home. There's so many things you can do with your computer while you're on the road. Other great uses include navigation and road maps. I use my iPhone specifically for that purpose while I'm traveling. If I don't know where I'm going, do you remember the days when you had to go to a gas station and buy a map and sit there and try to navigate your way through that maze of roads that are out there? It drives you nuts. And then when you get off course, you have to pull off to the side of the road and start navigating again. Nowadays, you've got GPS, and all you have to do is just type in where your destination is, and it walks you right to wherever you need to go. So other uses include emails, staying in touch with family and relatives. That's so important. Skype calling, researching future camping destinations, in some cases, making reservations and finding out what attractions are close by. So your computer that you use on the road is very reliable. It needs to be reliable. Now, while you're camping, again, what you should not be using them for is online gaming, routine internet browsing while sitting around the campfire, and using it to satisfy boredom. You should never be bored when you are camping. I know I have on many occasions, like I've said, I've sat around the campfire and I see people who are playing on their iPhones, playing on their electronic gadgets. That is not the place for it. That's what drives me right out of my mind. But if you're using a portable computer to do your business while you're traveling, I totally understand that. And a lot of times around the campfire, it's usually turned off and put away somewhere. Your portable computers, as well as your home computers, should have a strong sign-on password. They should have the most current Windows update if you're using Windows. Firewall should be turned on. That is so important. And your antivirus software. The software program I use is very reliable, and even though it had a glitch with my Adobe Audition software, I am not going to discard my antivirus software and go with something else, because what I'm using I consider to be very reliable. It's just one of those things that come up, it caused a problem, and it caused a major problem, and hopefully we're not going to have that problem again. So you want to make sure that you have a good antivirus software. Get an annual subscription plan. If you shop around online, you'll find there are some free stuff out there. I've used the free stuff before, and for the most part, I was pretty satisfied with it. But it's not going to provide you all the coverage you need. So you may want to consider getting an annual subscription plan that's going to cover all of your electronic devices, whether the devices you use at home, on the road, your tablets, your iPhones. You can get your antivirus software in a subscription plan that will cover all those devices for a relatively small amount of money. But remember, you get what you pay for. But if you're relying upon your computer while you are traveling, you want to make sure that you get the best protection possible. Nobody ever stops to think about what could happen if your computer crashes while you're on the road. If you want to subscribe to a service that's going to protect all of the important files that you have on your computer, you can get a plan that runs about $50 to $60 a year. It automatically backs up all of your important files, your documents, your music, your MP3 files, WAV files, etc., things like that, your photographs, your videos, tax records, anything that you have stored on your computer is going to be safely backed up each and every day and stored there in the event you have a massive computer problem. I stop and think what would have happened this past couple weeks had I not subscribed to a service like that. Every one of my important files would have been gone for good. Previous episodes of the Happy Camper Radio, raw footage that I have actually recorded and saved would have been gone. Contact information, anything that I have done, research, all my important files that have to do with my voiceover business would have been gone. So an inexpensive plan to run about $50 to $60 a year and having all of that information backed up somewhere has been a lifesaver, and it will be a lifesaver for you as well if you buy a computer and you take it on the road with you and something happens along the way where your computer crashes, heaven forbid your computer gets stolen, and that has happened from time to time. I don't believe it's going to happen at campgrounds because I want to believe that everybody who goes camping are good, down-to-earth folks. But if you happen to be traveling somewhere and you're away from your vehicle and your computer is in your car, somebody breaks in and takes your computer, it's gone. So that's why I say have a very strong sign-on password anytime you have an electronic device. I don't care if it's your portable computer, your home computer, or any of your devices that you may carry on your waist, like your smartphone, your Android, or what have you. Always have a very strong sign-on password. It's so important. But in the event that something does happen where you have to replace your computer, if you have to get your computer fixed, if it requires them to totally clean your hard drive and have your Windows system restored onto your computer, you'll at least be able to pull all of your important files from your service that you subscribe to and have them put back in place on your computer, just like nothing ever happened. It's like insurance, folks. You should consider any type of a plan that you buy for your computer, whether it be your antivirus software or you're buying a service or subscribing to a service to back up your important information somewhere so you can have access to it later. You should treat that like an insurance policy. And why do we buy insurance? We buy insurance in the hopes that we don't need it. But if we do need it, it's going to come in handy. So you think about some possible things that could happen while you're away, while you're vacationing, while you're on the road. And if you're one of those long-time campers, if you're one of those full-time campers, you definitely want to make sure that the computer that you use is going to be as protected as possible. Here's something you need to be mindful of when you're in the online world and you're away from home and you're away from your router and you're just out of your comfort zone. Be mindful and cautious when using public Wi-Fi hotspots. If you've heard any of the experts talk before, that's one place you do not want to do your online banking. You don't want to access public Wi-Fi hotspots and even possibly or remotely give the hackers a chance or access to your online information, whether it be your bank account number, your routing number, your logon password, whatever the case may be. So, be very mindful of this. And again, do your research ahead of time so you're not running into any problems at all. You're most likely not going to find hackers in your public and private campground environments. I don't believe they are there. I know there's a rotten apple in every bunch, but for the most part, all of the folks that I have ever met while camping in a public or private campground environment have been good, down-to-earth people. One of the reasons I bring this up, folks, and I think it was a great opportunity to do this episode today in light of everything that I had gone through the past couple weeks, is when you're traveling and you're doing your banking and your computing online, most likely if something happens, the nearest computer repair center is going to be hundreds of miles away from where you are. And you're going to be down and out for the count until you can get to a place and get that computer repaired, or in some cases, you may have to purchase a new computer, depending upon how old the computer is, what may have happened. Computers, like I say, folks, they are just like humans. They come down sick, they get viruses, they get stubborn. In some cases, they shut down altogether and do not want to cooperate with you, and it can be frustrating, especially for as much as we rely upon computers today to do what we can do. Remember, computers can be repaired or replaced, but your precious documents cannot. So that's why I encourage you, if you have not already subscribed to a service that will actually back up all of your important information on your computer, whether it be your home computer or the computer that you may take camping and out on the road with you, you may want to consider doing that. There's a lot of good companies out there. I don't want to give anybody a specific endorsement, but if you use them and you subscribe to them, believe me, they're going to be a lifesaver. They saved me this past week when I uploaded all my files back into their normal place on the computer that would otherwise have been lost. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Yep. Okay, folks, we are going to go to the state of North Dakota. We haven't been out there in a while, to Hazleton Recreation Area. This place is going to be open for at least another 2 to 3 weeks. It runs all the way through September 30th of 2015. The Hazleton Recreation Area is located on the east banks of the Missouri River on Lake Oahe, just south of Bismarck, North Dakota. The lake is formed by the Oahe Dam in South Dakota, which was built during the Flood Control Act of 1944. Visitors can enjoy the lake, great for boating, water skiing, swimming, fishing opportunities. Many species of fish inhabit the lake, including walleye, northern pike, and yellow perch. So if you plan on going there and going fishing, do some research online to find out what your licensing requirements are. The campground itself offers 18 primitive sites, with 12 sites having 50-amp electrical hookups. Picnic tables and campground rings are provided. Lots of great activities and amenities, including a vault toilet and playground. Boat ramp is located on site and has a large paved parking area. Adjacent picnic tables, a fish cleaning station, and additional vault toilets are also available. Couple things to know before you go. Don't move firewood. Remember, purchase all your firewood locally. If for more information on that, go to don'tmovefirewood.org. We also have a link available on our website as well. Their season is just about ready to end, so if you happen to be going through North Dakota anytime this season or maybe in the future, consider Hazleton Recreation Area. It's our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Of course, if you have a campground that you would like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. And by all means, include a link to the campground website. Well, folks, that's about all the time I have. Again, I am so delighted to be back here with you at the Happy Camper Radio Show and looking forward to many more exciting episodes down the road. Remember, folks, every pet deserves a loving home. Do like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can catch us online anytime at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and now subscribe to our brand new YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And no question about it, my friends, you can be a happy camper too. We'll catch you next week. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.